pleasure to be here. I think this is such an inspired forum. I can tell you we have nothing like this in Ottawa, so I'm going to be learning from this and hopefully we'll try to do the same sort of thing. But my name is Joanna Gualtieri. I live in Ottawa. I worked at Foreign Affairs. I started there in 1992, and my job was to manage, along with my colleagues in the bureau that I work for, the multi-billion-dollar portfolio that we have for our diplomats abroad. And I ascertained very quickly what I thought were problems with the fiscal, primarily really with the fiscal management of this multi-billion-dollar portfolio. David will speak a bit about my case, and there's plenty on the website, but what I ascertained after I went public is that there was a very profound problem in government, and of course, as I learned also in the private sector, but my focus was on government, on the problem of systemic wrongdoing. Yes, there are people who get concerned when extra pencils and erasers are stolen, but that is not our issue. The issue, as you'll learn as we discuss things tonight, the real issue is when systemic wrongdoing is in play, and the government fights back very hard on that, as we've learned with the procurement of helicopters, with the way we manage electoral fraud and reform, with, as we're going to talk about, the information, what's happened in Brazil. These are not inconsequential issues, these are profound issues, and that's when you will get pushback, because the embarrassment factor is huge, and there is a huge machine in place in government to lie to us, the citizenry, about what's going on. They spend more emphasis on spin than they do on dealing with the facts of what is being exposed. Spin is a very profound issue in government now. As I learned in my case, it's to take control of the story, and they do it by shooting the messenger, assassinating the whistleblower, which we are seeing with Edward Snowden, but anything to take public attention away from the issue. I am currently on the board of the Government Accountability Project, which is in Washington, D.C., and which is the world's foremost whistleblower protection agency. They got their start during the Vietnam War era, and when a very courageous man named Daniel Ellsberg blew the whistle on the war in Vietnam, the secret bombing campaign in Cambodia, and the fact that the American government were lying wholesale to the American people. Though he was right of center at that time, he did something that people would have been classically considered left of center, and he blew the whistle because he was not going to stand by and let the American government lie to the American people. And it basically was the beginning of the end of the Vietnam War. Then, of course, we had Watergate, and GAP found its beginning then, and they have become an incredibly powerful organization, not because we have tons of money. We do have money. We are supported by what you would consider to be classic establishment. The Rockefellers give us money. George Soros gives us money. Individuals give us money. What is at stake is the realization that we do not want to see power abused, whether it be in the private sector and pharmaceutical companies putting out adulterated drugs, or drugs like Vioxx or Prozac or Paxil, which they lie to us about the testing, or whether it be about government that is lying to us about the expenditure of taxpayer money, or pursuing programs such as the NSA program, which we know a lot about because the original whistleblowers in the NSA are clients of us at GAP. So I think it brings me such happiness to come into a setting like this tonight and see that there are people engaged. It harkens back to my early years. My father was a United Church minister, and then he was an academic and taught at a college named Vassar, which is in New York, and which was a very, you know, sort of a, it's not part of the Ivy League, but a very good college, but very progressive, and there was a lot of social there was a lot of conscience there, and that's where there were a lot of Vietnam War protests. I was a 5-year-old girl. I can remember my parents hauling me out to protest, and I was carrying signs that were bigger than me, you know. And then my parents were very involved in Canadian nationalism in the university, and you know, the civil rights movement, peace in the Middle East, and so this is the kind of thing that happened back then, and we have forgotten how powerful our voices are. So this collectivity is very inspiring, and I'm just very thankful to be part of it. So thank you.